Hey everyone, welcome to the Crap Game Podcast. My name is Kris, I'll be one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Mark. On this podcast, we'll be talking about a lot of different things, but on the theme of craps. If you don't know craps at a casino, you're probably better off that way. But we are dealers at a casino, and our favorite game to deal is craps. So we're going to keep this podcast themed around that. And with that being said, we're going to have 3 different segments every podcast. That's going to be the coming out segment, the point segment, and the 7 out segment. It's basically an intro body outro to it. So So anyway, we're 2 guys who like to talk about a lot of different things. We like a lot of different things, so that's kind of what we're gonna be doing. A lot of things we will probably focus on is sports, video games, entertainment, movies, shows, stuff like that. But we are in for a good treat today because on my way here, I got a text from a buddy of mine saying that Apex Legends, I don't know if you're familiar with the game. If you're not, you better get on it. But they'll be releasing their first battle pass ever tomorrow, which is March 19th.
It was a matter of time. It was just a matter of time.
I mean, absolutely. It's a free game. They're going to make money somehow, and the best way to do it is battle pass. They're following a game called Fortnite. So the reason why we're bringing this up is because this podcast is going to be based around Apex versus Fortnite. And me personally, I'm a big Apex fan. Since the game came out, I've been playing it nonstop. It's ridiculous. And then my buddy here, Kris, he's a big Fortnite fan. So really quickly before I continue on, tell him a little bit about Fortnite or your history with Fortnite.
So I started playing Fortnite in Season 2, I believe. That was roughly a year and a half ago. Don't know the exact length of their seasons. But currently they're on Season 8. When I started, to beat the whole season, you would get the Black Knight, and his armor was just incredible. Played it since... I took a little break through Season 6, because Season 6 and 7 started getting a little choppy, but I'm back now.
All right. I'm really excited about this Apex Battle Pass that they're coming out with. Just for those of you guys who are interested, Apex is coming out with a Battle Pass, which you can only buy with Apex coins. It's 950 Apex coins. That roughly translates to about $9.50. So every Apex coin is about 1 cent. So Battle Pass is 950 Apex coins, and then they have a Battle Pass bundle, which will get you 2,800 Apex coins. The difference between the two, honestly, to me, I don't really see much. The Battle Pass gets you Season 1 Battle Pass, and then you get all unlock exclusive rewards, where the bundle, it gets you everything the pass gets you, but it just unlocks the next 25 levels.
That's how it is on Fortnite as well.
So if you're unfamiliar with these Battle Royale games, you level up. I mean, PUBG didn't do this. You didn't level up in PUBG, really.
PUBG missed a lot of marks. They had a chance of being great.
I will say, though, I did like PUBG when it was out. I was a big fan of PUBG. I remember when I was getting into the Battle Royale scene, it was either Fortnite or PUBG for me. And at first, I didn't like it at all. But my brother got me into PUBG, and we started playing Fortnite a little bit. And after about a week, I went with PUBG.
Yeah, I just... the graphics.
Yeah, everybody has problems with the graphics. And the whole thing, their servers are terrible. And they're still pretty terrible. Like, if you played it lately, they have new maps out, and I feel like they tried to do a little too much with it, honestly.
There's a reason we're doing an Apex Legends versus Fortnite episode and not a PUBG versus Fortnite episode.
That is valid. So Apex seems to be following a lot of what Fortnite's doing with their battle passes. How do you feel about that?
It's a good formula to follow. I'm okay with it.
Tell me why it's a good formula. Because this is my first time dealing with battle passes in general, because PUBG didn't do it. When I was playing with PUBG, they never did it. So me being into Apex now, and they're about to release the battle pass tomorrow, I just want to buy it because it's a battle pass and Apex is releasing something. That's the reason why I want to buy it. But honestly, I don't really know what that entails for me as a player.
If they follow the same level up system as Fortnite does, if they follow the same reward system in a way, then it'll be worth it. So Fortnite, they have V-Bucks, which is their version of
Apex coins.
Apex coins. Now, throughout the season, more levels you go up on Fortnite, if you have the battle pass, you receive V-Bucks back, 100 V-Bucks at a time. So it costs you 950 V-Bucks to get the season. When the season's over, if you complete it, if you do all the challenges, you do level 100, you max out, you'll receive 1,300 plus V-Bucks.
So then the next season would be technically free. Okay.
So you can just build up, keep earning all your V-Bucks. Eventually, I didn't want the season pass for 7, just because, like I said earlier, the direction that they kind of went, they had a little hiccup right there for a bit. I didn't get it, so I just used my V-Bucks to purchase the NFL partnered Miami Dolphins Fortnite, which I use all the time.
I do like that those skins that they have partnered with the NFL. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It's very nice, especially when you go against and you see someone wearing a Patriots number 12 jersey going
they can
across
change the
map.
number?
You can change a number. So you just like pull that sniper out and you just like take care of him.
This is
real
what you
quick.
get for being a Brady fan.
Right.
Nobody likes Brady.
Nobody. Not even his parents.
You know what? I do like that skin because it fits the, no offense, the cartoonish look of Fortnite.
Oh, no offense taken. I love Fortnite because it has its own feel. I've always been a huge Call of Duty, very realistic as possible looking games. And at times that's great, but at times it's hard for your console to keep up and it's not that great.
The thing I didn't like about Call of Duty is that they released a new one
every year.
It was awful. You know, they just force you to spend $60 every year to continue playing a new game. And the problem is, you'd love the online play of it, but once they release a new game, the online play for, let's say, just like Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty game, it died.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that's upsetting because I like that online game for.
So
Black
one
Ops.
thing I love about Fortnite, and one thing I will give props to Apex to, is if they follow the Fortnite path, along with another game I enjoy, Rocket League, is they'll never have to release another version of the game. Just like Rainbow Six Siege, a game we play together.
Right.
They'll never have to release another version of it because their updates are fantastic.
Right.
They listen to their gamers.
Right.
They take constructive criticism. Like there's been times, like for example, like I'll go back to it, season 6 and 7 of Fortnite. A lot of people didn't like it, especially because Apex was coming out that right time when Fortnite kind of took a dip. Fortnite had to give free challenges to people so they could get a free season pass for 8.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
So that's kind of what they went through. But again, they can just update as much as they want. They can do patches and clean up everything consistently, and there will never need to be a Fortnite 2 or an Apex 2.
Right. And I think that's kind of the way it should be going now. I mean, unless your game's like more recently like Kingdom Hearts. Those are the type of games you can't just come out with new updates with. Those are games that you have to come out with a sequel to, or, you know, and continue that story. But these games, I think they're doing a great job with what they're doing with their multiplayer. It's awesome. But let's get back with the Apex versus Fortnite and which one is better. And we're gonna give our views on. I'm gonna give my view on Apex. And Kris is going to give his views on Fortnite. And at the end of this podcast, I kind of want to see what our listeners think, which game was their favorite, and maybe if our conversation might have swung them in a different direction. So let's just start off with, first of all, Apex is still a very, very new game.
Very new.
It's maybe about a month and a half.
And one thing I will give them, I don't play as much since Fortnite is back on the rise again. Is it doesn't feel buggy.
I was very surprised by that.
Now, there's going to be times where it looks like you're not in the same lobby as your squad mates because there might be a little glitch on the load in. But by the time you're jumping, all 3 of you are there together.
Right.
So that's the only bug I've seen, which every game has had the same bug. So that's just a connection split.
Yeah, I think that's an easy fix. And the great thing about that bug, I mean, not that there's great things about any bugs, but looking at the bright side of that bug, it doesn't really affect the gameplay once the game starts.
Right.
So that's a good thing. Like it may be frustrating and annoying at first because sometimes you might not be able to pick a character that you might want for that specific game, but you're still able to play the game and you're still able to, play it flawlessly and not have any problems.
It's better than the bugs that PUBG has jumping in.
I don't even want to get started with PUBG bugs because those were awful. Those were terrible. And it made me want to stop playing it.
Yeah. What are some other things that you enjoy about Apex so far?
Listen, the thing about Apex that I love that any other games haven't been able to do is that they're able to have different characters. And this is kind of why we're going to go back to Siege a little bit. Siege has many, many different characters. And they started off, when the game first released maybe 4 years ago, they had, I want to say, maybe 16 to 20 characters to start off with. And we're 4 years into Rainbow Six, and they have close to 40, which is unbelievable. That's awesome. And it never gets dull because all these characters have new abilities. So every character has different abilities, and I think that's the kind of direction that Apex is taking, where right now they have 8 characters, or maybe 10, 8 to 10. I think it starts off with 8, and you can unlock 2 more, and you get 10. I'm trying to imagine the layout. I mean, like I could probably name them all, but I won't do that. It's 8 to 10, but nonetheless, if they continue to drop new characters with different abilities, I think it would keep this game very live and fun, and it would change the and it really changes the strategy of how you play the game because different characters have different synergies with each other.
Right.
And I think that's awesome. Me and my brother play a lot together, but like we'll play a lot and then we'll play with our friend Devin. And he plays a different way. He plays different characters. But then the next night, me and my brother will play with another friend of ours, Mo. And he plays completely different with different characters, which kind of forces us to change, either change our characters or change the way we play with those characters.
Or me, I'm still a noob and I just pick Bangalore every single time.
You know what though? A lot of people, noob or not, pick the same character. It's called their main character. And I think that's absolutely dumb. It's like being a one-trick pony. You can only jump.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be good at the game, you want to be good with many different characters, and you want to be the guy that's like, okay, if you want this character, I can play with this character, or I can play with, if you want to be Bangalore, I can play with Bloodhound because I know Bloodhound and Bangalore, sync very well together. And a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, I'm still getting to know the game, so I still don't know exactly what every player can do, and we'll get back into this versus each other. But I probably would have stuck with Apex more, been on the same path you guys are on. But like I said, the Fortnite resurgence
Fortnite got you back.
It's grabbed me.
That's a good thing. I mean, that's what Fortnite's supposed to do.
And it's funny too because when Fortnite first came out, I was opposed to it because it was third person. I've just mostly been a first person type of guy.
Yeah, Call of Duty does that to you.
Right. And now I love it. I love third person. I love that you can peek around corners. I wish you could do it as much as my favorite game, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. The peeking corners in that was probably the best I've seen in the game. But yeah, I just love the third person over the first person now.
You don't think that's a little cheeky though? Like being able to peek around a corner without actually showing anything of yours, any of your body?
But they can too.
I mean, I know they can do the same thing, but like, I mean, it's not supposed to be a real life game, but also at the same time, like, why should you be able to peek around a corner when nobody's really suspecting that? Or like, you get what I'm saying? I mean, I'm probably not verbalizing this very well. I just feel like to me it might be somewhat of an unfair advantage, and I say this because I played third person PUBG. I couldn't play first person PUBG. And one of the bigger reasons why I chose third person PUBG is because I was able to do that. But when I went to first person PUBG, it became a lot more competitive. The strategies became different. You weren't able to do different things. And I think, when PUBG was competitive or is competitive, the only way you're competitive in that game is if you're playing first person, not third person. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's another big thing. Like, and that's one thing I never really thought of when I'm talking like Apex versus Fortnite is Apex is first person, Fortnite's third. And I guess that's really all preference, but
One thing that Apex could do that would grab me to that side, you can do solos on Fortnite.
you know,
I love solos. I love being able to just pick up my sticks, sit on my couch, have my wife tell me where I'm dropping, and just sit there and just her just talk to me while I'm playing video games. You can't do that on squads. You can't. You try doing squads with your significant other sitting next to you. Both of you most likely aren't gonna have a good time.
yeah. But the thing with Apex is that it's very team oriented. Their ping system on that game is absolutely bananas. It's by far the best ping system I've ever seen.
Oh, it's good. I definitely enjoy it. You definitely helped me out because I'm trying to pick up items. You're like, oh no, that doesn't go with your gun. Do this one. You'll ping it for me. Like, oh, okay, I'll go get that then.
Yeah, it's their ping system's so awesome, and I think that's why they won't release a solo ever. That's just my opinion. I think eventually down the line they may release 3-4 man squads. Well, it's already a 3-man squad, but they might release duos or 4-man squads. I think eventually down the line when more characters are released, because I think the reason why there's not 4-man squads now is because there's only 8 characters.
Right.
So if you're gonna have a 4-man squad, you're picking half of the characters already, and I don't think that's what they want to do just yet. When more characters come out, they'll come out with the 4-man. But I think they want to stay down that route where they take advantage of the ping system that they created, because it's absolutely incredible the way they did it.
It's definitely better than Siege. I'll say that because Siege, you guys tell me you'll ping a wall for me to border up, and then I'm like, where's that wall? Whereas on no, Apex, it's great.
Because also, if you have your headphones in, which I don't know why you would be playing without them, but when you have your headphones in and you ping something, your character also vocalizes it. So you don't have to have a mic playing squads at all.
You really don't for Apex because you can ping, you can do open chests, whatever they're called in Apex. You can ping enemies going across. You can ping enemies as you're dropping in, which I think is fantastic. Because as much as I love Fortnite, the dreaded tilted towers.
Yeah.
When that first came out, you're jumping in. You saw all 75 of you of the 100 map going there together, and then once you land, you're like, I wish I could have pinged them or something just to say exactly what building they're in.
Right.
Because the buildings are so close together, you can be breaking a wall and you can hear a guy 2 buildings over breaking a wall, and it's terrifying. But Apex definitely has the upper hand on the ping system for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the upper hand. But since you mentioned it, you just mentioned like 75 people in your 100 server dropping. Fortnite has 100 player server where Apex has only 60. What do you think about that?
So it's threes, so 20 teams.
Right. I mean, 60 makes sense for teams of 3. I mean, but they could also have gone the route of 90. Like that would have also been an option,
Right.
So what do you think about that? Do you think 60 is a good number, or do you think
For that map, 60 is good. I feel like if there were 100 people playing the Apex map with how much high ground is in there, like high ground that you don't build versus in Fortnite you build your high ground. Can you imagine trying to battle someone in King of the Hill and there's 30 people on top of something?
Right.
Whereas if there's 10 people down, maybe drop down, move around.
Right.
But yeah, 100 people would be too much on that map.
I agree. I think 60 people for that map. The map looks big when you bring it up on your game, but when you're actually playing on that map's not big at all. So I think 60 people is a good amount of players to have on it. But, speaking of having 4-man squads, I think down the road when they add more characters and then they allow you to have 4-man squads, I think they will come out with a bigger map.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be wider per se in any direction. I think that they just need to minimize the high ground in there. And I get it, there's no fall damage, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's so awesome. Not having fall damage. At first it was really weird for me to get used to, but afterwards it's you just fly through a map sometimes, and that's awesome.
I do like it. Fortnite, they changed their ways of doing that. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, if they want to do more people, they don't need to make the map bigger. They just need to minimize the high ground, shrink it down, so that way it's more of an even playing field. If you're gonna have more people on the map,
I think having the high ground is good.
no, it is good
I think
if you have the high ground.
Oh, well, absolutely if you have it, but that adds a little bit of strategy to it because they have characters like a Pathfinder, where Pathfinder can, one of his ultimate abilities is he can deploy a zip line to that high ground where your whole team can just zip line to that high ground.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that they're doing. What's the person that creates the little warps, the little rifts? Wraith. I love when you can create a tunnel and you know that we're going to go through some heavy fire. You create that tunnel and you go right down to the other side instead of being pinched.
Yep.
That is one thing I do like. Absolutely.
Wraith is definitely one of my favorite characters. Wraith and Bloodhound are my top two for sure. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the high ground is necessary in a game like this because of the different abilities. So now it creates, am I going to be high? Am I going to be low? Am I going to be, a mile away? And then all of a sudden I'm going to be right next to you because of a Wraith.
Right.
So, see, those are the things that kind of make it more interesting to me. And that being said, the building aspect of Fortnite is what makes Fortnite interesting. I can't build for my life. Like I tried and I sit there, I can make a little box around me and that's about it. Call it a day.
So that's how I used to be, and I'm still not that great. A couple of my buddies who I play Fortnite with, they can build over you in 2 seconds. You're like, what just happened? But with the building, first off, before I get to my point, they minimized how many materials you can have.
I saw that. It went from $9.99 to $500, right?
Yes,
Okay.
which I believe is fantastic. It balanced out the game because they're to a point. If you couldn't build, you couldn't play. Like it was just that simple. But now you don't necessarily have to build as much because the materials are limited.
Yeah.
But one thing I do love about the building is. Not so much in Apex because of the abilities, so therefore changes the strategies much. But let's say, for example, we're playing Call of Duty Black Ops. And Blackout, their Battle Royale version. You know that when the storm's moving in and there's people behind a building, they have 1 or 2 ways to go. On Fortnite, just because they're behind a building doesn't mean they can't be behind you in 2 seconds.
Right.
Because they can build through it, over, around it, and they can mess with you. They can build on top of you. Like, it just changes the strategy completely. It's not just your standard, oh, let's go over there and push those guys. Because that's not how it would work.
So since you mentioned that game, we've mentioned a couple different battle royales. Really quickly, how do you think Blackout's going to do in its current state with everything around it?
Their graphics are barely better than PUBG's.
You think? I think their graphics is a lot better than PUBG's.
It's cleaner, but overall, I'd rather play Apex and Fortnite as a battle royale.
100%.
The thing that I also love about Fortnite versus Apex and Call of Duty is Fortnite, you pick up a gun, you know what type of gun you have. You know what attachments you have because your gun, your weapon, that is the weapon that you get. There's no adding things, there's no taking things away. Apex can be a little frustrating sometimes because, yeah, you can find a great weapon, but did you find the attachments that really made the weapon what the weapon can do? You know what I mean? So,
it's funny you bring that up because I think Fortnite is the only battle royale game that doesn't have attachments to their guns. I shouldn't say only because I'm not familiar with games like H1Z1. I don't know if you've heard of that game. I think that's the actual starter of battle royales, H1Z1. I don't know how they do their games, but if we're talking like Blackout, PUBG, Apex, and Fortnite, I think Fortnite's the only game that doesn't have attachments included.
And I love that. I don't, unless I'm in, for example, old Call of Duty, unless I'm in my matchmaking screen where I'm creating my class, that's where I want to deal with attachments.
Right.
Like, I want to deal with it before I jump into the fight. When I'm playing, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, do I need this gun? Should I grab this one instead? Well, this has an ACOG instead. I'd rather just, these are the guns. This is what you can have.
I could definitely see that, but I'm gonna say I might be partial. I definitely like having the attachments available. I definitely like it, and mostly because you're not just looting for a gun. You know what I mean? You're looking for other things, and depending on what kind of player you are, you might not be ready, or you might not think you're ready for a fight because you're missing one or two attachments, or because one or two attachments aren't blue or purple or higher.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I think that gives a good aspect to the game because it adds a lot of mental to it. You know what I mean? Like, I could go into a fight without any attachments at all, and not saying that I'll win the fight, but I'll be like, whatever, if I win, I win, if I lose, I lose. But then I can continue to loot. You know, now you're going from town to town, you're kind of looking for the things you need, you're kind of like scavenging so you have an upper hand. You get what I'm saying?
So I play I play a different play style than most. Most people, especially that I play with, they're all about, let's go in, let's get the kills, let's try to get the most kills for our squad or solo, and let's make this win look good. Some of my best wins have been 1 or 2 kills. Because I out strategize, I out position people. So that way when they try to attack me, I have the upper hand and I'll just get the game. And some people would think, oh, you only had 1 kill, you only had 2 kill, you weren't really playing the game. Like,
No, I was strategizing.
the name of the game is to be the last one alive. Right. Not who has the most kills. This isn't Call of Duty.
You know, since we started streaming, me and my brother, my brother doesn't really stream, but since I started streaming, I win a lot of my games that I win, I'll have like 3 kills. But the most entertaining games to watch, I'll have like 6 or 7 kills. So it all depends on like what you're really going for, especially like for a guy who's streaming. You know?
Oh, if I'm streaming, like when I stream, I play different. I'll go because I want to make it exciting for my viewers. But if I'm just sitting there having a chill day, like I said, my wife, she sits next to me all the time and just watches me play, and like she'll tell me where to drop. And she'll be like, hey, go to Lonely Lodge, edge of the map, loot up, get some materials. And then once the circle's on the other side of the map, guess what? Lonely Lodge has 2 quads. Take one to the other side and you're good.
You know, a lot of the strategies that I've read on, I think that they always suggest that the best way to go is to enter the fights. And just, okay, you land somewhere and you loot up whatever you can there. But the moment you start hearing like gunfire or anything
Go for it.
Go right for it. Because what happens is you get those kills and you get their loot.
Right.
And a lot of times it ends up being pretty good loot and it helps you move forward.
And one thing that Fortnite improved is when you kill someone, which also some people say it ruined duos and squads. But when you kill someone, like completely finish them, you get 50 of each material. You get their ammo, obviously.
So you can't get all of their material. You only get 50?
Well, you get theirs plus like a bonus, like 50.
Oh, okay.
And then I think I got 50 because I killed the guy right at the beginning, so you probably didn't have anything yet.
Okay.
And then when you also kill him, you also receive 50 HP. So if you're max shield, if you're already max health, you'll just get 50 shield.
Really?
So it works just like a slurp. It'll do 50 HP, except the slurp does 75 now. But it'll start with your green health, your bottom bar first, and then it'll work into your shield. And so they've improved that, which for duos and squads, it's hurt because people get thirsted so much more now.
Right.
Because if I finish you off in a squad and duos match, I get your
health.
That
makes sense. And that's annoying.
It's annoying.
I can see that now. Now that I like think about that, I'm like, I'm going to kill this guy because I want 50% or like 50 HP extra. But now, like if that was me on reversed, I'd be so upset. Like, why are you going to kill me when there's still a fight going on? Yeah. Right. And if you listen to any of my streams, you'll hear me say that because Apex is no different. Because Apex, even though you don't get extra health when you kill somebody, killing somebody really switches the fight in your favor. Because if you let somebody go, you know, they can always crawl to safety. They may or may not have the gold knockdown shield, which you can self-revive yourself if you have it. And, you know, if you're able to just knock down or completely eliminate that person for this fight, 3 versus 2 in Apex is a big deal.
Right.
You know, that makes it so much harder for the team with only 2 people, which is why they would quote unquote thirst the guy they just downed.
Right.
And it's very annoying. For the person that's down, it's very annoying. For the person that downed you and then killed you, it's strategically proper.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will give Apex props for is one thing that I'm sure Fortnite will pick up here soon. Respawns. Respawns are huge in Apex, and I didn't even realize that they were a thing.
It's a
I
big
died,
thing.
and then all of a sudden your brother's like, "Well, hold on, I'm respawning." Like, wait, you're doing what now? Like I thought I was just waiting for next round. Like, all right, I'll get some popcorn, whatever. Wait.
That's a big thing, and I think they did such a great job with that respawning system because I don't think any other game can pull that off. Fortnite might be able to if they do it properly, but if you think about it, a lot of other games won't be able to pull that off and pull it off the way that they did it.
Right, Apex did a really nice job with it as far
Because
as respawn.
if you think about the respawn, if you know the game at all, you can first of all, to respawn somebody, you need to go to their death box and pick up their tags.
Right.
But there's only a certain amount of time you have to pick up those tags after they were killed.
Right.
So I believe it's 90 seconds you're given after the time you're killed to when your tags just disappear. So I think that's a great thing that they added to it, where you can't just pick up their tags and like finish the fight and pick up their tags and then get them. Like if you want to respawn your teammate, you either have to finish that fight right away or detour somewhere in that fight to pick up those tags before they spawn out.
Right. And also goes back to an earlier point you made. What really helps that even be better than what it possibly is their ping system. If you're running around looking for my tags and I've already been killed off, from the dead, I can ping where my items are for you.
Yep.
And that is...
And it's a big loud bing, bing in your
Right.
headphones. And you're like, oh, God, this guy wants to be respawned. Where's his tag? So he could stop pinging it already. But not only that, like, after you pick up your tags, now your dead teammate can ping the closest respawn beacon in the circle.
Yep.
So now you know where that is.
How many beacons are there on the map? There's not that many.
Honestly, I don't know. I think there's maybe 20.
Let's see.
If that. But I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Once a respawn beacon is used, it can't be used again. Which I think is absolutely awesome that they did that. Because if you think about it, if that respawn beacon can be used over and over and over again, I don't think the game would end.
Game would never end.
But speaking of the game ending, Apex matches are generally a lot quicker than most Battle Royale games. They run anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And if you have a long game, it goes to 25 minutes. And I'm just saying that's people camping.
Right.
Camping for position.
So there are 28 different respawn beacons.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
More than one a team.
Yeah, that is. I don't think
There's no way they
half
could all be used.
half the respawn beacons are used in a game. I don't think that happens very often. The time where respawn beacons get used the most is at the beginning of matches because
Everybody's getting their initial fights.
Apex is a very aggressive game. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but for the most part, Apex is a very aggressive game. So at the very beginning, especially because it's also a fairly small map, a lot of teams drop in the same general vicinity. And the moment you hear a gunshot, the moment you hear people running from you, if you have a gun, you're running for that person. You're trying to eliminate as many people as possible so your chances of winning are better at the end.
Let me ask you a question. As far as just the artistic viewing of the game, what do you enjoy looking at more, Fortnite or Apex?
Apex.
Really?
100%.
Is it because of the different abilities each character has?
Well, if we're talking artistic, like we're talking like graphics and art, like how everything is drawn out, right? That's what we're talking about. Well, I think it's visually better because of the different characters. You know what I mean? Like all these characters have different looks to them, and the different skins to each character is actually really cool to look at. Like the other day, I just opened a pack for Bloodhound, and I got a legendary skin called the Plague Doctor, and it's straight up all black, and it's such a sick skin to me. But you could look at another person that got, a different skin for Bloodhound, and it's like all red, or like it looks like a scarecrow almost, and it's like it's awesome. Like the different skins, they're very artistic, they're very unique to each character, and like what their abilities are, that they're named after. Like it's cool. I do like that aspect of it, and I also think that what I will give Fortnite is that their map is very. There's a lot to their map. Like it's very unique the way they do their maps, because like if you look at a Fortnite map, they have one corner has like all snow and ice, and then I think like just south of it, it's all sand and desert.
So the southwest is all snow. The southeast is a desert. The northwest is like all hills and grass. The northeast is the volcano and the new lagoon they put in. So
yeah, see, so you have a lot of different scenery,
and they change it up a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It evolves a lot, and what's great is when Fortnite first came out, a lot of the different parts of the maps kind of looked like they were cookie cutter. You're like, oh, I just saw the same hut over in Moisty Mire. R.I.P. Moisty Mire, you are missed. That was my favorite part of the map before they took it out. But yeah, every hut used to be cookie cutter, and there still are for the most part, like the smaller huts, but they've changed so much.
I think that's smart for them to do, though.
And the one thing that Fortnite does with the evolution of the map is there's a running storyline in Fortnite.
Yeah.
And it's all the season opener videos. That is the next part of the story. And the story changes the map. Dusty Depot became Dusty Divot, with the crash lane in the middle there. Just a lot of cool things that have happened in the 8 seasons that this game has been out. I think it's more colorful to me than
the colors are a lot brighter in Fortnite.
I love the colors. I love the fact of when I'm jumping in and I pull up my mini map, you can tell the difference of areas that you're jumping in. When you're pulling up Apex, for me, for someone who hasn't played that much,
it all looks the same.
It looks the same.
Yeah.
And which I get. It's eventually going to change. Fortnite, I remember their first map was very elementary across the board. Wasn't really much to it, but it was great. It was simple and it worked. And they've evolved, and it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of different unique aspects to their map. And I think that's pretty cool.
One thing I love about Fortnite's map over Apex map as well, 99% of the items on the Fortnite map can be destroyed.
Oh, yeah, because of the pickaxe or getting materials. Yeah,
Dynamite, RPGs, anything.
Yeah.
You can shoot walls down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where a buddy of mine, we've gone into Tilted, and we knew there was a team up top just keeping the high ground Tilted, so we just knocked the building down. They killed us, but we still knocked the building down.
Right.
It's nice that you can change up the scenery. The thing also I enjoy about Fortnite is you can play 100 games. None of them will be the same. Because of how much you can change the map, how much your strategy changes, where how you attack with the build. Whereas Apex, you can kind of like, oh, remember like a couple games ago we came around this bend, let's make sure we secure our backs this time so we know. It's very feeling because the map doesn't change. The circle changes where the circle takes
now,
you.
this is where I think Apex and Fortnite will differ, because now Fortnite can change the view of the map or the layout of everything around you. But I think what Apex does really well, and what'll make the games different, is that the characters really, really change how you go about things. You know what I mean? Like, the games generally are gonna be the same, but like how you attack things and how like different fights turn out in the end are very, 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 very different. Because like if you go against a team with, let's just say, like a Bangalore a Gibraltar, and a Wraith. You know, if you're looking at that team from afar, first of all, Wraith has this sick passive ability where if you aim at her, she mentions it. You get a warning sign that, hey, somebody's aiming at you. You should probably warn the rest of your teammates that they saw you. And because of that, if you know that they have a Wraith, you can't aim at that Wraith. Like, you can't aim down your sights and kind of like see what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be very passive about what you're doing unless you're okay with them knowing that you're around. See, that changes everything because like now, like let's just say I'm Wraith a lot. So what happens is I'll be running down like an open field, like booking it. Next thing I know, Wraith tells me that somebody's aiming at me. All of a sudden I stop, I make a portal go back, and now my team knows, okay, they're in this general area. Maybe we can loop around and, you know, scout it out. But the reason why I bring up Gibraltar and then a Bangalore is their ultimate abilities are very, very similar. They have, Bangalore has a Rolling Thunder that drops, stuns you, doesn't really hurt you too much. But if a Bangalore drops, or if a Gibraltar drops his ability in the same area, you're stunned by Bangalore. And now you're going to get rocked by Gibraltar, who has a Rolling Thunder that's just straight up pounds you to the ground. Like, that one will hurt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you know that, now you're kind of scared to approach them. Because if they have their ultimate set up and ready to go at you, you're kind of just like, okay, well, if my team pushes, do we have the right characters to push? So the right characters would be like, do you have a Wraith to create a portal in and out? Or do you have a Bloodhound that can just straight up see them from far with his ultimate ability? Things like that. But like, or do you have a Pathfinder that can create a zip line, you know, to a higher ground where they can't get their ultimates at? You get what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that really change how the game is played out.
No, I get that completely. But one thing I love, as far as comparing that to Fortnite, is one thing that we've done a couple times on Siege as well, is you can make your character completely recruit. And you can just troll people. You can just make them think that this guy literally just got the game.
Yeah.
He's not going to do anything. And then next thing you know, because you may not have the Wraith that does her little thing, but they have Porter Rifts, which one person can have that anyone next to them, when that thing goes off, shoots way up in the sky and they can fly away to wherever they want.
Right.
So that's one thing, like what I'm getting to is, for Fortnite versus Apex, is everybody can do the same stuff. As far as, I guess, permission goes, everyone's permitted to do the same thing. But doesn't mean that everyone can do the same things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it keeps it somewhat even, and how you use what's given to you is up to you.
Right, because you have no idea. Like for example, on Apex, you look across the map, you're like, oh, I can see there's a Bangalore. Let's make sure that we don't get close enough for Rolling Thunder.
Right.
You're playing Fortnite. Oh, hey, there's a John Wick over there.
Right.
Cool. Like, that's all the information you can have about what that person can do. Unless, of course, you're stream sniping, and then you're just a loser for doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also, one thing that I'm sure Apex will be getting into, especially since they're starting their Battle Pass. We'll just remind everyone this is what we're talking about tonight. Apex versus Fortnite, because Apex is coming out. Battle Pass tomorrow, March 19th. But one thing that Fortnite has really well is they execute our special events. They have a lot of special events. Like, for example, I know one of our coworkers, they stayed up late so they could attend the Marshmallow concert in Fortnite.
Really? Who did that?
Person we did work with.
Drop names. I don't care.
She stayed up late to play it. Someone we deal with. That's right.
Is it Jahira?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, listen. Jahira is a big streamer. I will have her streaming info in our bio or info, so you can check her out.
Good stream channel.
There you go.
Sorry,
so
I know we were saying names or not. Sorry.
It made it okay.
But
listen, just no last names.
Right. But yeah, I know. For example, she stayed up to do the Marshmallow concert.
That's actually pretty dope.
When certain things have changed on the map, such as like the rocket going up in the air in season 3 or 4, when the rifts started happening in season 5. Epic let you know things are about to happen and to be logged on and on the map at a certain time so you could see the map change. Mm-hmm. And then like there'll just be YouTube streams of it, Twitch streams, Mixer streams going all across of everyone watching this live event together, and it's a special event. Which
Really?
if Apex gets to that with their battle pass where they talk to their players as much as Fortnite does,
Right.
then they'll do all right. But Fortnite, as far as the special events go, I don't know if anyone can touch them. Rocket League, they do special events, but it's not the same. You'll get like you get extra XP for a week. Or
What season is Rocket League on right now?
Rocket League is getting ready to start their third battle pass.
Third? So they're just finishing up their second?
They just finished their second.
That was over the winter, right?
Yes.
Because I know they just did a season just recently.
I want to say their seasons are 2.5 months long. Does that sound right?
I don't know. You're the one who got me into Rocket League.
I
So
love Rocket League. That's another episode because I can just go on for hours about Rocket League.
I do like Rocket League.
And also because a lot of certain things with Fortnite, sorry, going back to what I like about that, because of the building aspect and because you don't know who has what compared to, like, you can see what characters are in Apex. Fortnite, there's a lot of improv.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go with it like, all right, well, hopefully this works.
Right.
Whereas in Apex and stuff like Siege, you have certain abilities that you need to use a certain way or else you're not going to win.
Right.
So
but the thing is, those two games are very team oriented.
very team oriented.
So.
And I guess because Fortnite, I do enjoy solos, so that's why I tend to go that way more.
Yeah. So I think if you're the type of person that likes to play with other people, you can't go wrong with either game. But if you happen to be a more introverted, not like to talk on the mics kind of guy, but you still want to have that atmosphere of playing with other people, I think Apex is the way to go. Because it allows you to play without having to actually talk into the mic.
No, I do get that. There's a lot of communication with the ping aspect of Apex.
You can literally play the game, not saying a single word, and you can communicate properly as to what's going on at all times.
They tried doing that with Fortnite with the quick emotes. As far as I need ammo, and they had like different ones for different types of ammo.
Right.
But Apex just does it better.
Can I tell you, speaking of ammo, they did such a great job with their looting system. Like so for example, if you pick up a heavy ammo gun, all heavy ammo is green. So like if you just quickly open up your inventory and all you need is heavy ammo, any ammo that's not green, you can just drop it. Or if you're like out there looking for ammo, you can see that the green ammo is there. You can just pick it up. You get what I'm saying? So like it's very simple. Like PUBG, I forget what they did. I know Fortnite. They show the bullets. Like 4 bullets, mini bullets. I think that's like a light ammo for them, and then like one big bullet is like one big heavy ammo.
2 big ones is a heavy, 3 mediums is a medium ammo, 4 small ones is a small.
Right.
But the thing I like about Fortnite versus Apex is I don't care if I pick up all of that ammo. I don't have to drop it.
You don't have slots for that.
You have 5 inventory slots for 5 items.
Right.
You can have 5 weapons or you can have 5 healths. Like, it doesn't matter. You have those 5 slots.
There's no slots for your ammo.
You have slots for your traps, your materials, your ammo. But as far as the actual inventory that blocks you are the 5 main spots of just weapons, health, and different items.
So it's somewhat a little bit simpler.
Fortnite's easier to loot, hands down.
Absolutely. Only because there's not much to it. It's guns, ammo, traps, health.
And you can see how good the gun is before you run to the other side of the town. Like, I know if I see something shine from the other side of town, I'll pull out my scoped weapon. I can see what it is.
Because the guns are valued by their color.
Correct.
So just like how the attachments are valued by their color on Apex.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But the thing, again, with Fortnite, you don't have to worry about attachments because your gun either has a scope or it doesn't. It's either suppressed or it's not. But see,
so is there a way in Fortnite, can you get like an AR with a scope and a silencer? I mean, I'm not saying there's no silencer in Apex, but is that possible? There's a scope with, or there's a gun with a scope and a silencer,
I mean, there's a suppressed sniper rifle.
but you can't get a suppressor on an AR.
You can get a suppressed scar, but not with a scope.
See, so this is where I think having the ability to get different attachments help, because like some people might not like scopes, some people might like scopes, but you have that option. Like you can get whatever gun you want, and then depending on how well you're able to loot, now you can figure out how you want your gun loaded out.
Right.
So like, for example, scopes is a big thing in any game. Any shooting game you have, scopes is a big thing. And I think what being able to loot your attachments does is that you're able to have a sniper scope on a sniper, or you can just have a one ACOG, one times ACOG on it, and just like marksman rifle that you don't have to snipe with it. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
Where it gives your gun the ability to do different things because of where you can see, what you can do, how much ammo you have, how quickly you can switch out of it, things like that.
so with Fortnite, there are different SMGs,
Right.
small machine guns. There are different assault rifles.
Right.
There are different snipers. There are different shotguns. They separate them so you can pick up different ones. So you can switch your loadout that way. So that way there isn't the whole let me make sure that when I switch my weapon I kept my scope, or let me make sure when I switch my weapon I kept my extended mag. Like, you don't worry about that because the weapons are just set the way they are.
It's funny you mentioned that, because if we were talking about PUBG, then I'd definitely agree with you there, because what PUBG does is when you switch out a weapon, it just either puts all those attachments in your bag if you have space, and if you don't have space, it just drops it. However, with Apex, it just, if it's allowed to switch over to the next gun, it will.
Right, which I think is fantastic.
I think it's awesome. It makes life a hell of a lot easier. And because of that ability to do that, I think it's the same thing as just trying to switch out a gun on Fortnite.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think that's gonna be it for our Apex versus Fortnite.
Did I persuade you to come back over to Fortnite?
No,
I didn't think so.
I mean, listen. If you're playing Fortnite and I'm the only one on, I'll jump on Fortnite with you for sure. Like I won't say no to that. But I think for the most part, Apex is gonna be my game to play.
I get it.
Just as Fortnite's probably gonna be yours.
Yeah, but I mean, mostly for me are other games that we'll have future episodes about.
Yeah, absolutely. Rainbow Six, Rocket League. Be on the lookout for those episodes where we talk about that. I'm very adamant about Rainbow Six. We'll get to that one.
We're gonna have some episodes about some Switch games too, which I'm excited about.
You know what? It's gonna be a big year for Switch. I'm definitely excited for what Switch comes out with this year. But yeah. By the way, guys, we both stream. We both have social media. So, Kris, really quickly, tell them where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. So my last name is Pridgeon, which you will have in my bio. My gamer tag is just going to be my last name reversed. So it's Negderp. You'll hear people call me Derp, Negderp. But yeah, that's all it is. And then what about for you, Mark? Where can people find you?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm also on Twitch. I also stream on Twitch. I'm also working on a YouTube channel where I take my streams or I take my video game play and make videos with it. It's very simple. I'm a fly fresh flip. I am a FLYFRESHFLIP. All of them have the same handle. So if you guys want to find me, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, I'm all over it. Also, for the Crap Game Podcast, this is right now we're just starting with a podcast, but we're looking into making, Instagram pictures, videos for YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. Kris, tell them where they can find that.
All of our Crap Game entertainments as a whole can be found on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, soon YouTube, and Instagram. And it all is all going to be at Crap Game short for entertainment. So it's going to be CRAPGAMEENT.
Crap game.
Crap game.
All right, guys. Also, we will be releasing podcasts on a weekly basis. At the moment, we're looking at every Monday and every Friday at 7 p.m. So make sure you're on the lookout for those. Other than that, I think this is a great intro episode to our podcast. What do you think?
I'm pretty excited. Also, one thing our listeners should be looking out for too. Both of us, we're going to be taking our own individual route with a podcast separate from this as well. We will have all the links together for your to make it easier for you to look around at those. But we will let you know when those podcasts start coming up. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Kris, take us out.
7 out.